And I shall bring forth a seed from Jacob and from Yehudah, an heir of my mountains, and my chosen ones shall inherit it, and my servants dwell there. And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks, in the valley of Achor, a place for herds to lie down, for my people who have sought me. But you are those who forsake Yahuwah, who forget my set-apart mountain, who prepare a table for God, and who fill a drink offering for the Benjamins, baby. I've been telling you how Isaiah and Jeremiah are the two witnesses, and I can prove it to whoever don't believe that. And these last two chapters of Isaiah, chapter 65 and 66, it explains the end, not every aspect of it, but it explains to you who these people are that he's talking about who forget his set-apart mountain. It describes the duality, the fact that there is an imposter people and city and place. Just like the Messiah told us. He said, I am giving up. He said, see, I am giving up those who say they are Yahudim, Jews's, and are not, but lie. That is mentioned right here in these next two chapters. And it explains so much. It explains the problem. It explains the blindness, the delusion. It explains what the Most High is asking and what the world, how the world is rejecting and why. Right here in verse 12 or 11, excuse me. But you are those who forsake Yahuwah, who forget my set-apart mountain, who prepare a table for God. Okay, now I'll just show you the comparison so you can see that we're talking about fortune and money right here, who spread a table for fortune and fill bowls of mixed wine for destiny. God and money. That's where the word money came from. That's why on the money it says, in God we trust. God, G-A-W-D, G-A-D, G-O-D, however you want to spell it. It's basically Satan, but it's the god of fortune. It's all about money. That's why it's on the money. And a table is where you put the food, right? Well, what is the food? We know. The food is the word of the Most High. So who he's talking about here that forsake him and forgot his set-apart mountain are these people who they lay out the Most High's word for you on a table. They prepare, they set the table for you. But it's for money. It's for some form of profit, one way or the other. Because they're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to look into this message about the imposter, because they know everyone would get up and walk away from that table. So they pick and choose. They cherry pick what word that they want to put out on the table, and it's based upon what's going to tickle your ear and keep you plugged in to their little system. And the money keeps flowing. They fill a drink offering for money. A drink offering, communion, Passover. That's what this is talking about. And I shall allot you to the sword. To the sword. That is what's happening right now. That's why nobody can see this message. Nobody can even fathom the thought that you have to go to Jerusalem to have the feast days. They can't understand what these words mean, like the sword. They're thinking that they're going to die in the war or something, but it's not. They're being allotted to the sword. He says, and let you all bow down to the slaughter. The word is doing the judging, and we're going to see more of that here as we read along. But they're being allotted to the sword because they cherry-picked and they placed ear-tickling word on the table for the world, for the believers, the Christians. And it's caused them to forsake the Most High and forget his set-apart mountain. That's what that cherry-picked, watered-down, diluted word is intended for. That's its purpose. And because of that, the people who've been eating at that table, they haven't been eating the real word. They don't know what it says, therefore, they're being slaughtered by it. Pretty easy to understand, right? Because I called and you did not answer. See, I spoke and you did not hear. See, this is all about, he put the word in here. All the instructions, the secret of the Most High, all that. What the distress is, what the sword means, what horses mean, what chariots mean, what beasts mean, what birds of prey mean, what all these words mean. If we were really eating the food like we ought to, we would all know what all this means. But because we've been fed lies and had our ears tickled, we're being slaughtered by the word because it was all about money and money, cars, and clothes, the fortune and the fame. And he put all the words here and instructions in this word for us, for our life, and the world is being slaughtered because they won't pick it up, because they go to those tables where watered down generic food has been set. And you did evil before my eyes and chose that in which I did not delight. Now remember, he just said, you forget my set apart mountain. And at the end of that, verse 12, he says, you chose that in which I did not delight. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, my servants eat, but you hunger. See, my servants drink, but you thirst. See, my servants rejoice, but you are put to shame. See, my servants sing for joy of heart. And we know what to sing. We know what he's getting at. How it is that his servants will drink and will eat while everyone else is hungry and thirsty. This word tells us that we have, that the Spirit of the Most High, it goes in and goes out. We go in and go out. We operate in the Spirit of the Most High. We do what he does. That's what that means. Why is it that, and this is a prime example of how the world's being slaughtered because they ain't been fed the right word and they ain't been hungry for the full word. Why is it that if I say, if we're talking about a law on the books here in America, like laws about drug smuggling, and we were discussing the ins and outs of this, of a certain law, why would it be if I said, well, that's the spirit of the law? You know, the spirit of this law about drug smuggling is, that we want to get the drugs off the streets and clean up, whatever. That's the spirit of the law. If I said that, why is it that everyone who heard me say that would understand that I'm not talking about some being that's like that's in charge of that law. Why is it understood that we all know that I'm not talking about angelic being, I'm not talking about an alien, I'm talking about what that law intends to do. We would all understand that, right? Like the fighting spirit. I could say, that's the spirit. If someone got up after they just got knocked down and continued on fighting, everyone who heard me say that, we would all understand that I'm not talking about some angelic being going into this person and saying that's the spirit, right? We would understand that we're talking about an attitude, a way. Well, that's the same thing the Most High is talking about when he's talking about his spirit of truth, of righteousness, of right ruling. His children, they rule rightly. They worship in spirit and in truth. They do what the Most High has prescribed. That's the spirit of the Most High. So when he says, see my servants sing for joy of heart, we know, anybody who's been reading the word, we know what he's talking about. It's the same thing he's talking about when he mentions the renewed song, the song of the Lamb and of Moses. This is all about his set apart mountain. And why it's everything to him is because it would be just like me. Like if I meet someone, and I fall in love with her, and I want to know if she loves me. If she can't even come see me, if she can't call, if we can't go out, if we can't hang out, who am I kidding, right? It's the same with the Most High. If you can't show up to his house and do what he likes to do, because that's his desire, and you laugh about it and joke and think this is a joke, you think the Most High is a joke. And a relationship with him is a joke to you. This is how we are satisfied with this word. Those who fear and serve the Most High, who love him. And the rest, these other people that we're reading about, they think they're satisfied, but obviously they're not. Obviously. But you cry for sorrow of heart and wail for breaking of spirit. For breaking of spirit. See? And we know that he's not talking literal. They're not literally standing there wailing because they're not abiding in the spirit of the Most High. No, they deliberately choose not to. They choose to break the spirit. They choose to not do what the Most High delights in. And they love every second of it, and they preach it and teach it and promote it. But deep down inside, those of us who serve the Most High, we see that they're wailing. They're crying inside, and they're on their way to that slaughter. They don't got no idea, though. That's the problem. And herein lies my frustration with getting this message across to people. And you shall leave your name as a curse to my chosen, for the Master Yahuwah shall put you to death and call his servants by another name. By another name. So clearly, the people he's talking about that are crying and wailing and are hungry and thirsty and they're allotted to the sword and they're being slaughtered, those people, he's clearly letting us know that they look like servants of the Most High. They claim to be servants of the Most High. So that he who blesses himself in the earth does bless himself in the mighty Most High of truth. And he who swears in the earth does swear by the mighty Most High of truth. What's he talking about? You guys? That right there, that first part of verse 16 lets you know that what the people here that he's talking about, this era of people that he's mentioning, they will not understand earth the way it is. That the way they see earth is not the truth. You see? What he just told you is, if you can find out that the state of Israel that was created by the Rothschilds, if you can find out that that's a lie, a hoax, a trap, and you can find where the true location of the Most High's dwelling place is, and you can bless yourself in there, and you can tell people about it, swear in spirit and in truth, that's where the blessing is. He's letting you know. Because watch what he goes on to say. Because the former distresses shall be forgotten. And how many times, just curious, if one of you guys would just throw a number, how many times have I explained to you what the word distresses means in the word? What the Most High means by the word distress? It means exactly what I was just mentioning, that the boundaries have been torn down and the land was thrown into confusion. Where Babylon once was is now Montreal and northeast New England, America. And where you think Israel, the Holy Land, is actually Byzantium, the land of Phoenicia, and so on and so forth. So if you bless yourself in the earth, and this is why he uses the words everlasting foundations. You can bless yourself in the earth, in the Most High of truth, right now, because he left the proof of where it is in the earth, and you can't change it. The enemy cannot change it. Just look. I mean, anywhere you want to look, you'll find the truth about the imposter and our true home. And now that we've discovered this, eventually they won't even be remembered. There's going to come a time where no one's going to say, didn't one time people used to think that Yehuda was over in the middle? No one will even remember that. It's going back to the way it was in the beginning, and it's going to stay that way. And because they shall be hidden from my eyes, all that BS, all those lies is going to be hidden. For look, I am creating new heavens and a new earth. And the former shall not be remembered, nor come to heart. Now I know everyone wants to jump and say, see, he's going to destroy the earth. You don't have to care about where it is. You're dead wrong. Why did he just tell us to bless ourselves in the earth and swear by the earth? I can prove it to you anytime. If you really want to come look at this with me, he has never meant one time that he's going to incinerate the earth and destroy it, where there is no more what we're on right now. No. He's creating it, just like if you see someone who used to be overweight, and 10 years later you see them and they're fit and in shape, and you would say to that guy, you're a brand new man. You're like a brand new man. That's what the Most High's talking about. The heavens, he's going to I am creating new heavens. That's the truth. That's that wine he's talking about, the new wine. That's the truth that's here, that's been here this whole time, but the world does not see it. The same with the earth. And the former shall not be remembered nor come to heart, but be glad and rejoice forever in what I create. And well, he's about ready to tell you what he's creating right now. And this is the description of the new earth. And I got to remind you, he's not talking about destroying the earth, exploding it, burning it till it melts into nothing. He's not talking about that. He's talking about what I just told you. Because look, he said, be glad and rejoice forever in what I create. He just said, I'm creating new heavens and new earth. And he said, in what I create. For look, I create Yerushalayim, a rejoicing, and her people a joy. That's what the new earth and new heavens looks like. Is that Yerushalayim becomes a praise in the earth, and everyone who's here, the servants of the Most High, we love her. It's written on our forehead. We come in and come out. And all this mumbo jumbo is forgotten. And I shall rejoice in Yerushalayim and shall joy in my people, and let the voice of weeping no more be heard in her, nor the voice of crying. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and plant vineyards and eat their fruit. And we just seen forever, the distresses will be forgotten. So we just was reading about what people call heaven, whatever you want to call it. The end, the kingdom, when the kingdom comes. So we're going to be building houses. We're not going to be zapped up into space, floating around on a cloud, sucked up into space, kidnapped. No, we're going to return and build houses and plant vineyards and eat their fruit. Real, it sounds like real life, doesn't it? Don't sound like a fairy tale fantasy. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For the days of my people are going to be as the days of a tree, and my chosen ones outlive the work of their hands. They shall do no evil, nor destroy in all my set-apart mountain. Thus said Yahuwah, the heavens are my throne, and the earth is my footstool. The word is where we find him. That's his throne, right? The truth tells us what we need to do, where we need to go. And the earth is his footstool, where he stands. Where is this house that you build for me, and where is the place of my rest? That's rhetorical. He's being sarcastic. He knows, okay? That's letting you know that what happened in 1948 is invalid. It's wrong. It's a lie. And all these my hand has made, and all these that exist, declares Yahuwah, yet to such a one I look, on him who is poor and bruised of spirit, and who trembles at my word. At my word. Now this next verse is going to let you know, it's going to confirm everything we've been talking about not eating the feast wherever you want, and what it means to the Most High to be doing this. Whoever slays the bull strikes a man. Should we be going around striking men? That's not right, is it? It's not. So it's not right to be slaying bulls like this. Whoever slaughters the lamb breaks a dog's neck. What do you think it'd be okay every Passover you go and just find a dog and break his neck? That wouldn't be right, would it? That's evil. Why do you think when the Messiah had the Passover, we didn't read any part of him eating lamb, did we? We read about the bread and the wine. The reason they ate the lamb in the first place, and they ate all of it, it was a foreshadowing to tell us here in these end days, these latter days, that we have to eat all of the word. And it's all about being prepared to make that trek, that journey back to our true home. Whoever brings a grain offering, pig's blood. A grain offering. Well, now, don't the Most High want us to bring a grain offering into the storehouse, right? So what's he talking about? This lets you know that he's exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about the imposter, the opposite of his house, and all these other churches out here in the world that promote the imposter, that is built upon the imposter. Its foundations rest upon the imposter. So it's saying, when you bring money to them places that promotes, look, the fake state of Israel that was created in 1948, it wouldn't be nothing without the Christians around the world, but especially right here in America. It wouldn't be what it is. And it wouldn't be what it is to them had it not been for the television and all these lies that we've been taught growing up. When you bring grain offering, when you pay your tithes and you promote, give off, put money in the offering plate to this place that promotes the abomination that lays waste, the image of the beast, it's like you bringing a big bucket of pig's blood to their altars. That's what the Most High thinks of it. And why wouldn't he? Look at it. It's nothing about him. It's all adultery. The whole deal. It don't matter how much truth you preach if it's covered in a bunch of lies. You might as well just throw it all out and get and not. You can't go up there. You can't say, well, they know that keeping the feast days is right, but we still celebrate Christmas and we still call him this and do that. No, you can't go to a place like that. I'm not saying throw the truth out, but you can't be eating at those kind of tables when there's just a little bit of truth, but it's surrounded by evil. You can't. Whoever burns incense blesses an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own way, and their being delights in their abominations. It's all an abomination. Trust me. I've been trying to get this across to you. You can't, if you're out there eating Passover in Madison, Wisconsin, Orlando, Florida, wherever you are, it's an abomination, because the whole point of that feast day is about being at the house on the appointed time with Dad. So if you're doing it out there, it's a joke. I shall also choose their punishments and bring their fears on them, because I called, but no one answered. I spoke, and they did not hear, and they did evil before my eyes, and chose what was displeasing to me. Chose what was displeasing to him. Hear the word of Yahuwah, you who tremble at his word. Do you tremble at his word? Do you? Your brothers who hate you, who cast you out for my name's sake, said, let Yahuwah be esteemed, so that we see your joy. But they are put to shame. They're not going to esteem him, but if they hear about me esteeming him, they'll say, oh, and they laugh about it. They say, oh, Dadi ben Yahuwah. They think it's cute. They think it's funny. And if I would just say, well, what you got a problem with me giving all esteem to Yahuwah? And they'd say, oh, no, it's great. Go ahead. But they wouldn't be caught dead doing it. They'll go talk about it behind my back. Put to shame. And what is it that puts them to shame? a roaring sound from the city, a voice from the Hakal, the voice of Yahuwah repaying his enemies. I've been telling you, his enemies are anyone who can't come to the house, who laughs at this. It don't matter how much you praise him. If you laugh at this, what good is it? All you're doing is esteeming him with your lips, but your heart ain't nowhere near him. What you're hearing, this is talking about this day and time, what you've been hearing from this channel right here. That's what verse 6 is talking about. And I'm going to prove it to you even more, but you should already know. And all I'm doing is reading the Most High's word. So it's his word coming from his Hakal. But I'm cast out because I'm doing it. And I don't know if you're aware of what we just read. It ain't going to be me that's put to shame as long as I continue to do this. Before she labored, and this is going to be the proof right here. This last of this right here is going to be the proof of what I'm saying. It's going to be the proof that I'm not BSing you, that this is real. That what is happening here with me in this place, what I've been saying, is the truth. And you best take heed. Before she labored, she gave birth. That means it just happened. Nobody said, we want Palestine, and it took years, just like it did. Just like they did it. We read in Albert Pike's book from the 1800s where they were planning on building the state of Israel, the Zionist state of Israel, in order to bring about these 3 world wars. We know all about it. It ain't got nothing to do with righteousness. It's all unrighteousness and bloodshed. So that place labored and then gave birth. What happened here? I went for a drive. I knew that this was the land out here in the west, but I didn't even know nothing about Jerusalem. I didn't know really where I was going to go. My plans were to go to the Great Basin National Park. Sounds funny, don't it? But that was the truth. Me and my son, we just went for a cruise one day because we could, and nobody cared. Nobody even knew I was gone for about 7 months. It took 7 months before anyone started to ask where I was. And that's how the world is. That was one of the main reasons that drove me to leave. Because, and at that 7 months, I'm the one that actually, like, I could have kept it to where no one it would have went on for who knows how long before anyone realized we were gone. But it was like, I can't remember how it happened, but I kind of like, got in a conversation to where that ended up like coming out. And then nobody believed me when I told them where I was. But at that time, by that time, I was seeing so much. The Most High was showing me so much, and it tells you that. It tells us all through the Word that these people will come home, and when they come home, that's where the truth's going to come from. It's going to be a roaring sound from the city. I went for a drive. I got here and started to realize what it was and seeing the truth, and the Most High just downloaded a mega load of truth about it all. And it's all, I got the receipts. Go back and look at the videos. Go back to last summer and start watching go to where the image of the beast, where I start talking about the image of the beast. And before that, I was seeing all kinds of truths before that. But if you just go back to like where I start talking about the image of the beast, you'll see all the receipts. And there's still so much more to learn. I'm not saying I know it all, that I've seen it all by then, but what I'm talking about, the Most High showed me that this is it. This is the true Holy Land, and that place over there is the imposter. It's the image of the beast, the abomination that lays waste. Daniel told us, he said, they took the truth of the set-apart place and threw it down to the ground. Do you see? And he said that the set-apart place would be made right. It's so simple once you start reading the word and you get used to its lingo. But this is what happened. I showed up and boom, delivery happened. There was no labor. Delivery happened like that. Before a pain came to her, she was delivered of a male child. When in 2017, we saw the Revelation 12 sign in the sky, right? Where the woman clothed in the sun gave birth to the male child. But that happened last year too, in September 23rd, around September 23rd, 24th, the night that everything changed. And go back to the videos. Right there on that night, we were talking about it. It was the Nexus event, when realities crossed, when we started to see the truth of our true home and the imposter. That was 9 months after I had arrived. Sure was. What's the coincidence in that? I don't know. But just you can count it. Yeah, I've done counted it so many times. It was 9 months to almost to the day from the time I landed here that I started to see the truth about the distresses. Who has heard the like of this? Who has seen the like of these? Is a land brought forth in one day? Is a nation born at once? For as soon as Sion labored, she gave birth to her children. Shall I bring to birth and not give delivery, says Yahuwah? And I know most people probably don't believe this, some of you, but if you do, if you are believing me and you are willing to come check to see if I'm telling you the truth, if you understand that this is the truth, listen up. This ain't gonna go back the way it was. This is only going to progress further and further. He's going to give delivery, the deliverance right here. This is going to happen. Shall I who give delivery restrain birth, said your mighty most high? Rejoice with Jerusalem. See, so don't think this is going back. Don't think that this ain't true. No, you need to rejoice in this with Jerusalem and be glad with her. All you who love her, rejoice greatly with her, all you who mourn for her. So that you feed, okay? If we were rejoicing in that place over there, are you feeding on righteousness, right ruling, Messiah, any of that? No, I've been feeding on this, haven't I? And anyone who's been here eating at this table with me, we've been feeding. And shall be satisfied with the breast of her comforts, so that you drink deeply and shall delight yourselves in her overflowing esteem. There is no overflowing esteem over there out of that place. There's no esteem of the Most High. That's the congregation of Satan. Their flag says everything. Those who thought about that, the Freemasons and the Knights Templars and the Albert Pikes of the world. Those type of people who burn people alive for knowing too much of the word, who gas chamber them for knowing too much of the word. That's who that place is. That's why these people who love that place, they're not satisfied, they're starving. They're not delighting themselves in her overflowing esteem. For thus said Yahuwah, see, I am extending peace to her like a river, and the esteem of the nations like a flowing stream. And you shall feed and shall be carried on the side and be fondled on her knees. As one whom his mother comforts, so I comfort you. And in Jerusalem you are comforted. And you shall see, and your heart shall rejoice. and your bones flourish as tender grass. And the hand of Yahuwah shall be known to his servants, and his displeasure to his enemies. Is the hand of the Most High known to those people over there? It is. Is that why they keep launching missiles into just wherever, killing people, starving them? Is that why they're out knocking food off trucks and preventing aid getting in there to them starving little children? And is that why they dip their bullets in pig's fat and talk about it on TikTok and sing and do these little nasty dances? You hear about all this stuff. You see all the evidence of it. Is that why? Is that why they want to make laws where they can chop your head off for believing that the Messiah came in the flesh? Are those people who are abiding in the Spirit of the Most High, who the Most High is known to them? No, that's the congregation of Satan. And I'm going to keep saying it until y'all start getting it, because that's what it is. It's anti-Messiah. They'll kill you. They would love to kill you. They would piss on you, spit on you, burn you alive for saying that the Messiah has came. They're waiting. They think that this is bringing their Messiah. You see? They're not about love and peace. They're about world domination. That's what they're about. And that's why he says, like when he's talking about this, about us coming home, he said, you'll know that I am the Most High of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when I do these things. This is how you know. This has solidified my faith now, because of all this, that it's not, I can't even ask myself, do I believe it? It's not like that. It ain't that I know the Most High is real. He's led me. I see all this truth. All this truth, all this stuff that I'm feeding on, that the world's missing out on, that they're not getting. They're not seeing it. They're not seeing that the image of the beast is corrupted, has corrupted them, and then they're being led to the slaughter. They're blind to it. For look, Yahuwah comes with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his displeasure with burning and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword Yahuwah shall judge all flesh, the word. And the fire is that proving in the word of whether or not you can be led by the Lamb wherever he leads you. And the slain of Yahuwah shall be many. It is. Those who set themselves apart and cleanse themselves at the gardens. What gardens is he talking about? You think he's really talking about real gardens? The goal the Most High has for us is to get us back to the garden. He tells us all through that the garden land will be reckoned as a forest. You see? That's the distress. And we know that we got to come in and come out if we love the Most High, if we serve him and fear him. That's the Lamb. That's following the Lamb. We come to the true location in truth and righteousness. We rule rightly. But the world, the Christians, they think as long as they go twice on Sunday and once on Wednesday, or just once on Wednesday every once in a while, and say some prayers, they're good. They cleanse themselves at the gardens after one in the midst. Who do you think that is? Well, here's some more description of them. They eat flesh of pigs. Sure sounds like Christians to me. And the abomination that lays waste wouldn't be what it is without these Christians who cleanse themselves after one in the midst, that eat the flesh of swine. And the abomination and the mouse are snatched away together, declares Yahuwah. Now, you probably ain't going to believe me when I tell you this, but The reason the reason it says the abomination and the mouse, the reason he said that, that lets you know for sure what the abomination is. The word the mouse is used to let you know what the abomination is. The house and the mouse are snatched away together. You could take that word abomination out and just put house. That's why it says the abomination and the mouse. There's only one house right now that's saying she is it, that these people do all the stuff that it's talking about. There's only one. And it's getting snatched away. And it ain't my word. It declares Yahuwah, not me. And I, because of their works and their imaginations, am coming to gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my esteem. And I shall set a sign among them, and shall send some of those who escape. Remember, they escaped the sword. Escaped to the nations, Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, who draw the bow, and Tubal and Yawon, the coastlands afar off, who have not heard my report, nor seen my esteem. And what report is that? We all know, don't we? And they shall declare my esteem among the nations, and they shall bring all your brothers as an offering to Yahuwah out of all the nations, on horses, and in chariots, and in litters, on mules and camels, where? To my set-apart mountain, Yerushalayim, declares Yahuwah, as the children of Yasharal bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of Yahuwah. That clean vessel, that's describing that fire right there. And the word. The word and the word brings you home. That's following the Lamb. When you follow the Lamb and you come to his house, you're a clean vessel into the house of Yahuwah. And from them too I shall take for priests, for Levites, declares Yahuwah. For as the new heavens and the new earth that I make stand before me, see, the earth is his footstool, declares Yahuwah, so your seed and your name shall stand. And it shall be that from new moon to new moon, and from Shabbat to Shabbat, all flesh shall come to worship before me, declares Yahuwah. Now, let's jump over here to Jeremiah real quick. Chapter 50. And this is important because this is talking about Israel and America. They're one and the same. And the word tells us that all through it. But if you just want to get it summed up in a good, like a quick illustration, go watch iPet Goat 2. It'll tell you. iPet Goat 2 explains everything. And why that is, I don't know. It's not my fault. I didn't make it. It's got nothing to do with me. I just seen it and I know what it's telling us. It's telling us the same thing. The word that Yahuwah spoke concerning Babel, concerning the land of the Kasdim, of the Chaldeans, by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare among the nations and let it be heard, and lift up a banner, let it be heard, and do not conceal it. Say, Babel shall be taken, Bel shall be put to shame, Merodach, Molech shall be broken, her images shall be put to shame, her idols shall be broken. For a nation shall come up against her from the north, which shall make her land waste, and none shall dwell in it. Now remember, like I told you, the land of Chaldea, of the Kasdim, that's America. That's New England, the Great Lakes area, Montreal, all that, America. And what's happening right now? A nation shall come up against her from the north, which shall make her land waste, and none shall dwell in it. They shall flee, they shall go, both man and beast. In those days and at that time, declares Yahuwah, the children of Yasharal shall come, they and the children of Yehuda together, weeping as they come. Does that sound like rapture? That's the rapture right there. But not the way this world thinks that it's going down. They're going to come and seek Yahuwah their Most High. They shall ask the way to Sion. Where are you guys in the comment section? Keep it coming. I'll tell you all I know. It's not everything. It might not be a lot, but what I know, if you want to know it, come. Let's talk about it. Put your face towards it. Come and let us join ourselves to Yahuwah in an everlasting covenant, never to be forgotten. My people have been wandering sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray, turning them away on the mountains. See? They have gone from mountain to hill. How many times do I got to tell you about Mount Nebo? Mount Zion. Mount Zion over there where they say it is, it ain't even a knoll, man. The mountain of the Most High is a mountain. He says it sets up in the sky. It reaches the sky. And it does. I can almost see it from where I'm sitting here, but it's dark out. But in the daytime, I'm 60, 70 miles from it, and every time I look south, that's what I see. Boom. So the first thing I see is the top of it. It's the head of this whole area. This whole big, majestic, fantastic kingdom of an area over here. It's not a hill. It's mountains. Mount Nebo is 12,000 feet tall. That Mount Nebo they give you over there is only 2,400 feet in elevation. It's the coastlands that he's always talking about. They have forgotten their resting place. This is talking about the end. Well, the world thinks they know where their resting place is, don't they? All these ones eating the flesh of swine. And like I said, it's Israel has been built on the backs of good little Christians who just got led astray, who ain't read the word enough to figure this out themselves. But you know what? All you Messianic people, Hebrew, whatever, you know, if you're come out of holidays and stuff, like I always tell you, awesome, bravo. But if you keep supporting and standing, if you keep talking Trump and talking Netanyahu and all that, you're right there with them. You're no different. Don't matter if you don't eat pig. It don't matter that you don't celebrate Christmas. You're still stuck and on your way to the slaughter. You've forgotten your resting place. All who found them have devoured them, and their adversaries have said, we are not guilty, because they have sinned against Yahuwah, the home of righteousness, and the expectation of their fathers. Yahuwah. See? The home of righteousness. They've forgotten their place of rest. The people lied. The enemy lied to us and said, this is it over here. They're saying we're not guilty. They're the ones that ain't picked the word up to find out that there would be an imposter. It's not our fault. That's what that's saying. Flee from the midst of Babel. See? That place you think is the rest, that's Babel. Come out of the land of the Kasdim, of the Chaldeans. And this is why I've been saying it. All the word I've seen, it seems like the ones who are going to come home are physically already in America, in the land of the Kasdim. And because the rest of the world is looking at us like we're about ready to get blowed to smithereens, which is going to happen, but they're laughing, you know, they're like, oh, but you wish you weren't in America now. You know what I'm saying? So there ain't going to be nobody wanting to fly here, like there ain't nobody wanting to fly to Israel right now for vacation. People aren't going to want to come because they see what BRICS is doing with Russia and China, all this stuff. They see what's coming. They see all this stuff about Biden and Trump, all this stuff. You have to come out of there. You got to come across the Rockies and back home. And be as rams before a flock. For look, I am stirring up and bringing against Babel an assembly, BRICS, of great nations from a land of the north. See? And they shall array themselves against her. Is that happening right now? They're arraying themselves against Israel and America. It's the same thing. They're the same people. From there she shall be captured. Their arrows are like those of mighty skilled men, not returning empty-handed. And Kasdim, shall become plunder. All who plunder her shall satisfy themselves, declares Yahuwah. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, you who plunder my inheritance. And see, this is how you know he's talking about America, because Israel wouldn't be nothing without America. Without these Christians saying, I stand with Israel, Donald Trump. And now we even got Joe Biden supporters standing with Israel. Ain't that odd? Don't you find it odd that CNN is swinging from Israel's necktie right now, but 5 years ago they hated it all the time? Kind of odd, ain't it? Because you have grown fat like a heifer threshing grain, and you nigh like stallions threshing grain. Your mother shall be greatly ashamed. She who bore you shall be humiliated. Look, the last of the nations. She who bore you. Christianity, it's love and marriage. Christianity wouldn't be nothing without the fake state of Israel right now. She is who bore her. That's why it says she's going to be ashamed and humiliated. And that's what's happening right now. Look, the last of the nations. Is she not the last of the nations? She sure is, huh? A wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yahuwah, she shall not be inhabited, but she shall be deserted, all of it. Everyone passing by, quote unquote. This is how you can tell, too, that that's who it's talking about. Passing by. He's talking about Passover. Anyone passing by. That's why he often says that the Son of Man will not pass by you, pass through you. Everyone passing by Babel shall be astonished and whistle at all her plagues. Set yourselves in array against Babel all around, all you who bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against Yahuwah, and her sin has reached up into the heavens, unto the Word. And she up to the throne. She believes that she is the throne, that she's the one. Her foundations, or shoot against her all around. She has given her hand. Her foundations have fallen. Her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yahuwah. Take vengeance on her as she has done, so do to her. Cut off the sower from Babel. See? The sower. We're still talking about the Most High's word. And him who handles the sickle at harvest time. From before the sword of the oppressor, each one turns to his own people, and each one flees to his own land. Yahudah. Yasharal is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First the sovereign of Ashur devoured him, and now at last, this Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, has broken his bones. Therefore thus said Yahuwah, Yahuwah of hosts, the Most High of Yasharal. See, I am punishing the sovereign of Babel and his land, as I have punished the sovereign of Ashur. And I shall bring back Yasharal to his pasture, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his being be satisfied on Mount Ephraim, Nebo, and Gilad. In those days and at that time, declares Yahuwah, the crookedness of Yasharal shall be searched for, but there shall be none, and the sin of Yehudah, but none shall be found, for I shall pardon those whom I leave as a remnant. How the hammer of all the earth has been cut off and broken. How Babel has become a ruin among the nations. I have laid a snare for you, see? And you were captured, O Babel, and you yourself did not know. You have been found and also caught because you strove against Yahuwah. Yahuwah has opened his armory and has brought out the weapons of his displeasure. For the master, the Most High of Hosts, has a work to do in the land of the Kasdim. Does that not seem likely? That he has a work to do in the land of America? That we're being told that all-out war's coming? That, what cities in America is safe to be in, and if a nuclear fallout happens, and we all know what's coming. We've all dreamed about it. We know. That's that work. And it's the work. It's also this work of him making us aware of where we really are and us coming home, all that stuff. Come against her from every quarter, open her storehouses, pile her up as heaps of ruins, and put her under the ban, let her have no remnant. Slay her bulls, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, for their day has come, the time of their punishment. Listen, they flee and escape from the land of Babel to declare in Sion the vengeance of Yahuwah, our mighty Most High, the vengeance of his Hakal. Summon archers against Babel, all you who bend the bow, and camp against her all around. Let no one escape. Repay her according to her work, to do to her according to all she has done, for she has been proud against Yahuwah, against the set apart one of Yasharal. Therefore her young men shall fall in the streets, and all her men of battle shall perish in that day, declares Yahuwah. All these preachers, prayer warriors and stuff. See, I am against you, O proud one, declares the master of Yahuwah of hosts. For your day has come, the time of your punishment, and the proud one shall stumble, and he shall fall, with no one to raise him up, and I shall kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all around him. Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the children of Yasharal were oppressed along with the children of Yehuda, and all who took them captive have held them fast. They refuse to let them go. They refuse to hear this message about the former distresses. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahuwah of hosts is his name. He shall strongly plead their case so as to give rest. Strongly plead their case. Why? To give rest to the land, but unrest to the inhabitants of Babel. If you support Yasharal, or if you stand with Israel, Netanyahu, you're an inhabitant of Babel. A sword is upon the Kasdim, the Rothschilds, and all these Knights Templar types. And it is upon the inhabitants of Babel, and upon her heads, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall be fools. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be broken down. Preachers, teachers, theologians, whatever. A sword is upon their horses. The horses represent spirits, the spirits. Their spirits, the word, is chopping all their attitudes down and making a fool out of them. It's bringing shame upon them, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mixed peoples who are in her midst, and they shall become like women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be plundered. A sword is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is a land of carved images, and they shall boast about their idols. Yep, that's what's happening. Therefore the wild beast shall dwell with the jackals, and the ostriches dwell in it, and it shall never again be inhabited, nor dwelt in unto all generations. Therefore hear the counsel of Yahuwah, which he has counseled concerning Babel, and his purposes he has purposed concerning the land of the Kasdim. So, concerning the fake state of Israel, and the land of America, and all Babel-related idols and objects, He has a plan, a purpose for them, and it's coming, and we all know it. The least of the flock shall drag them away. He shall make their pasture a waste before them. At the sound of Babel's capture, the earth shall be shaken, and the outcry shall be heard among the nations. Does that sound plausible? Yeah. Thus said Yahuwah, see, I am stirring up the spirit of a destroyer against Babel, against those who dwell in Leb, my opponents. Leb. That wouldn't be why they call that Lebanon over there, would it be? My opponents? Well, they are his opponents, no doubt, and they are Babel. And I shall send winnowers to Babel, who shall winnow her and empty her land, for they shall be against her all around in the day of evil. They are. They're mounted, and not just that. Look at all these reporters, these independent journalists right now who are doing an amazing job at bringing the truth of what's really going on over there. There are winnowers all around. Let the archer draw his bow and let him stand ready in armor. Do not spare her young men. Put all her army under the ban, baby. And the slain shall fall in the land of the Kasdim, in America. The slain. Okay, how we can know this is true? Where are the majority of those who stand with Israel blindly, regardless of what they do or who they are? America. So, where's the majority of the people who are going to be slain because they bought her bullshit going to be slain? In America. Pierced through in her streets. That's what's coming. And look, and all the rest of the nations like China and Russia, they know this too. They can't stand it. That's why, that's just more reason they want to put this place out, knock its lights out. Its lights out. Because they know why that Israel, why all the nasty stuff has been happening over there. Because of this place over here. For neither Yasharal nor Yehuda is widowed by his mighty Most High, Yahuwah of hosts, though their land has been filled with sin against the set apart one of Yasharal. Flee from the midst of Babel, and let each one save his life. Do not be cut off in her crookedness. And that's what it is. It's iniquity. In this translation, they use the word crookedness, but in all the other ones they use iniquity. But crookedness, and it's the same thing. It's intentional sin. It's doing it wrong. But more importantly, it's you think you're doing it right, but you're doing it wrong. That's what crooked means. It's not broke. It's not something else. It's the same thing, but it's crooked. It's your own way. You see? So, in iniquity, it's the same thing, but you're going to get cut off in her crookedness if you don't wake up to who she is and what she is. For this is the time of the vengeance of Yahuwah, the recompense he is repaying her. And here's more proof of what I'm talking about. Babel was a golden cup in the hand of Yahuwah. There's that cup, just like the Holy Grail. That's what this is. Making drunk all the earth. The golden cup is where the wine, that's the drink offering. That's the Passover. The Most High made that place as a snare, a trap, a golden cup to make drunk all the earth. All the people who ain't reading his word, who ain't real. The nations drank her wine. That is why the nations went mad. Christianity, all that stuff. Babel shall suddenly fall and be broken. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she might be healed. We would have healed Babel, but she is not healed. Let us leave her and each go to his own land, for judgment reaches to the heavens and is lifted up to the clouds. Yahuwah has brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us relate in Sion the work of Yahuwah, our mighty Most High. Polish the arrows, put on the shields. Yahuwah has stirred up the spirit of the sovereigns of the Medes, for his plan is against Babel to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahuwah, the vengeance for his Akal. Lift up a banner on the walls of Babel, strengthen the watch, station the watchman, prepare the ambush, for Yahuwah has both planned and done what he spoke concerning the inhabitants of Babel. You who dwell upon many waters, many truths, great in treasures, your end has come, the measure of your greedy gain. He made the earth by his power. He established the world by his wisdom and stretched out the heavens by his understanding. When he gives forth his voice, the waters in the heavens roar, the truth. And he makes vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. This is all riddle, code word. He makes lightnings for the rain, and he brings the wind out of his treasuries. All mankind has become too brutish to know. Too brutish to know what? Are you telling me that all mankind is too brutish to know that the Most High is the one that made the earth and lightnings and rain and all this stuff? No, they're too brutish to know what these words mean. That's what he's talking about. Every smith has been put to shame by the carved image, by that table that it's set. For his molded image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. There's no truth on that table. They are worthless, a work of mockery. In the time of their punishment, they perish. October 7th. And I shall repay Babel and the inhabitants of Chaldea for all the evil they have done in Zion before your eyes, declares Yahuwah. Israel and the Americans, because they're the one, and not just, and anyone here doing this, all these people who stand with Israel, that's what he's talking about. They're the ones that's done this evil. All this, Christopher Columbus, all this, the Trail of Tears, the slaughtering of all the Native Americans, the gold rush. I mean, I could go on and on. See, I am against you, O destroying mountain, who destroys all the earth. Did he destroy all the earth? Who he's talking about? No. They just destroyed the way earth was, the names for everything, the boundaries. And I shall stretch out my hand against you, and I shall roll you down from the rocks and make you a burnt mountain. And they shall not take from you a stone for a corner, nor a stone for a foundation. That lets you know right there that I'm telling you the truth. That he's taught that Babel is the place that they say the Messiah came from. That's what he's talking about. And you're going to see even more. But you shall be a waste forever, declares Yahuwah. Lift up a banner in the land. Here I am. Blow a shofar among the nations. Prepare the nations against her. Call the rains against her. Against who? Ararat, many, and what's that word? Ashkenaz. See? Appoint a commander against her. Bring her horses like hairy locust. Separate the nations against her with the sovereigns of the Medes, its governors and all its rulers, and the land of his rule. So that the land shakes and writhes in pain, for every plan of Yahuwah shall be established against Babel, to make the land of Babel a ruin without inhabitant. The mighty men of Babel have ceased to fight. Yep. They might think they're fighting. They're out here, warriors of God, and blah, 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 standing on the street, but they ain't doing no fighting. All they're doing is talking. And it ain't doing no good. Because they remained in their strongholds. That's why it ain't doing them no good. Their might has failed. They became like women. They have burned her dwelling places. The bars of her gates have been broken down. One runner runs to meet another, and one reporter to meet another, to report to the sovereign of Babel that his city is taken on all sides. And the fords have been captured. They have been burned with reeds of fire, and the soldiers, they have burned the reeds with fire, and the soldiers are satisfied. Reeds, the measuring rod, the forts, the hiding, the preventing of penetrating through their wall, through their disguise. For thus said Yahuwah of hosts, the Most High of Yasharal, the daughter of Babel, is like a threshing floor. See? At the time it is trodden. It is, because everyone's saying, I stand with Israel. And they could take Israel and replace that word and just insert, I stand with the image of the beast. That's what it is. So you see how that's a threshing floor in the time of her end. Because everyone's, they think standing with Israel is doing what's right, doing the right thing, but it ain't. It's a snare. It's a trap. And yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Now I want you to see, I'm going to show you here. Let the violence done to me and my flesh be upon Babel, says the inhabitant of Sion. Let my blood be upon the inhabitants of Chaldea, says Yerushalayim. Now this part right here is going to let you know a little bit of the timeline. Because look, it says, come out of her midst, my people, and let everyone deliver his being from the burning displeasure of Yahuwah. Unless your heart grow faint, and you fear the report heard in the land. For a report shall come 1 year, and after that, in another year, a report shall come, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. I came here in 2023. And the Most High's year starts in April, right? So I came in March of 2023. So if we went by Gregorian years, I've been here I was here of almost all of 2023, and it's 2024. So 2 years. So 23 and 24, however you want to chop it up. 2 years. And violent, sudden destruction. And that's not the only place we've read that. We've seen it other places. Therefore, see, the days are coming that I shall bring punishment on the carved images of Babel, and all her land shall be put to shame, and her slain fall in her midst. And the carved image, the biggest carved image, is the state of Israel. That's a carved image. And the heavens and the earth and all that is in them shall shout for joy over Babel, for the ravagers shall come to her from the north, declares Yahuwah. And Babel is to fall for the slain of Yasharal, so for Babel the slain of all the earth shall fall. You who have escaped the sword, go away. Do not stand still. Do not stand with Israel. Remember Yahuwah from afar, and let Yerushalayim come to your heart. All this is telling you the same thing, my friends. It's the same thing. The secret of the Most High. That was explained to the prophets. Is that the land's been hidden, thrown into confusion, and now the world believes that the image of the beast is the set-apart dwelling place, the Holy Land. They're dead wrong.